So everyone, welcome to our new series, Talking Hair Loss. So we've got 12 people, 12 haircuts, and 12 incredible chats about hair loss. Honest conversations in the barber chair about hair loss, thinning and receding, with some advice from me along the way. With new episodes coming every 2 weeks. This is Talking Hair Loss. This series is made possible by our sponsor, Manual. Right guys, welcome back to the Regal Gentleman Studio, and welcome back to our series, Talking Hair Loss with Manual. And today we've got Tom in the chair. How are you doing, mate?
Not too bad.
Good. So what are we doing? What's the plan today?
Well, noticed a bit of hair loss, mostly in the sides, a bit of thinning, and it's feeling a bit patchy right now.
Okay, in the sides, yeah. Interesting.
But I've been liking the curly fringe. That's been starting to grow out quite a bit, so I want to keep that really. Okay. But it's just finding out what's best to do with the sides to sort of like complement the top, really. The top, yeah, indeed. I think, well, in all fairness, I wouldn't have noticed the sides were thinning. Yeah, so that's a good thing. It's because usually you bring a bit from the top and sort of like mask it a little bit down there, but the sort of like base of it is sort of...
Is a bit thinner. Yeah. Okay, no worries. I'd never recommend doing that, pulling bits from the top down.
Sure.
Because it's very hard to balance.
Yeah, it is.
That way. Because if you look now, if you look straight on it yourself, you've got a very asymmetric hairstyle.
Sure,
like this bit's kind of on its own here. This bit's very short, so it's kind of hard to do that. I think what you're best doing when it comes to like trying to cover hair loss or whatever, it's trying to work with the area and trying to get the best out of that area, not necessarily by using bits from other areas most of the time. Sure. If you get what I mean. So if we look at, so the top as well, the hairline as well. You notice the hairline as well,
Back,
yeah. Let's have a look. Okay, it's not too high.
Yeah,
it's not too high at all.
Yeah.
So obviously there is a bit of hair loss there, but I wouldn't say it's anything to generally like massively worry about just yet.
Well, I've been taking a bit of medication for it in the past.
Oh right, okay. What have you been using?
Finasteride.
Oh, amazing.
Sort of pills. So it's one a day sort of thing in the morning, and take with other sort of like vitamins. So
Oh, cool.
It's not really a hassle really, just because I've got other stuff as well.
Nice, that's very good. How have you found that, by the way? Have you found that? Have you found it?
Yeah, because I used to notice, like, especially in the shower mostly, just like a lot of hair fall.
Okay.
And this is a little bit, but it's not been anywhere near as bad since
good.
January.
Since Jan, yeah. Okay, so we're filming this in September, so 9 months in. That's really good. Right, okay, so essentially what you want to keep is you want to keep as much fullness in the hair. Sure. And you want to go for a curly fringe, right?
Yeah,
that's essentially
basically,
it. Okay, now you're in luck because you've got the curls already, and obviously you can see the hair is obviously changing texture amazingly. So I think at the minute, because of it is quite a little bit all over the show, right?
Sure.
And you can't always tell because of the curls. The curls kind of disguise it a little bit. But I feel like you need a bit more body in this hair. All right, because at the moment with your face shape, you've got a very, very lean face, right? And I think it sitting so flat, it's kind of bringing everything else on the sides. So I think you need a bit more body around here. Now, with the fringe, we can actually cut the fringe relatively short. Okay. I don't mean like right up to the hairline, but a lot shorter than what it is now. And use the actual recession to keep the fullness in. Because there's no point in trying to keep fullness in from here at the back to work into the front, because that just doesn't work. Your curly hair wants to do its own thing. Yeah. You kind of have to let it do its own thing. So we have to cut it correctly to let it do its own thing well, okay? Now with the sides and the back, with being a little bit patchy or whatever, I honestly don't think, personally, from my own professional opinion, I don't think by keeping all that length on the top makes the slightest bit of difference to the sides. Okay. I think that's a placebo effect for you.
Sure.
I do. Because there's the sides and the back with the length in. Let me just spin into the camera. There's the sides and the back. Now, this bit coming over, I don't think makes the slightest bit of difference. We'd still keep some length coming through into the connection. Yeah. But I think if we work with what we've got on the sides, we taper the side bend in a bit more so then it shows off the length here. I think if we were to use whatever the common length is on the back and sides now, so we pick that up and we take away that section there, I think that would really help to create a fullness, because then we'd be balancing the curls. And again, there's products out there you can use to add thickness as well. Sure. Even when it comes down to the shampoo. Because if you're already using a hair loss tablet, then adding in something else isn't going to make or do any harm to it as well. So like this Manual I've sent as a power shampoo, which I've actually used myself. Okay. It gives like a tingly sensation. So it's kind of like it stimulates the blood supply to the hair. So again, anything like that is great, because it can't do anything bad to keep the hair flow going. Okay, so I think we use that to start with for sure. But I think in terms of the style, if you let me shape this into a nice curly shape, I think that'll do you wonders, mate.
Brilliant, yeah, I'm down for that.
If we keep the length on the back and sides as much as we possibly can to keep that fullness in there, because it is nice and full.
Yeah.
Then if we shorten through here, again, I find sometimes working with hair loss or finer hair, the shorter you go, the thicker it looks, because you end up with all this kind of mad separation at the end. See that there? Almost looks like broken split ends. It's probably not, it's just because the hair's fine.
Sure.
So I think if we were to get rid of a lot of that, because if you pull it out, you see the difference in the colour. Like it's a lot darker here and then it gets a lot lighter at the top.
Yeah.
And that's generally because it's thicker here and thinner at the ends. So I think we use the thickest parts to create the fullness. Then by leaving length in the sides, that will create the illusion that everything's thick, right? Then with the front, that'll be a bit of my judgment there, okay? But with the front, if we just separate it now, if we look at the hairline now, so this is coming from just before the recession on either side, right? If we look at that, if we just section that away, just a second, look at that, you're able to see it's very thick in the middle, very fine towards the corners, right? If I was to lay this in like a crop hairstyle, which is where you basically fill in the gaps here through this sort of section here, and then take the fringe shorter, I think that would give you so much more fullness at the hairline. It will create a hairline for you.
Sure.
And then it'll be so much easier for you to manage at the same time.
Yeah,
as well.
because it's been like especially difficult to manage these parts right here, trying to like figure out, oh, do these go down there, or is that supposed to go forward? And like,
exactly,
I could be there like for like a few minutes every day, just thinking.
Exactly, and that's not. And don't forget, like you said, a gust of wind. It's all game over, isn't it? Yeah, it's game over. So I think when you're pulling hair down from a direction of the top of your hair wants to go forwards, you're always best working with the direction of the hair growth, because it grows out well, it falls better, it doesn't fall, it falls in the way it's meant to, so it's very easy for you to manage. If you're pulling bits that are going forwards down to the sides, throughout the day, they're going to constantly move forward, or you're going to have to leave them that long that they look so disconnected that the minute you get a gust of wind or you don't get it right, or you wake up and the hair's all over the show, you're going to struggle to get them down. So I think we need to utilise bits at the right part of the head to create the thickness that you need. So I think with the front, for example, if we were to take that kind of to about here, then it would allow me to bring in less hair. So we'd be building up these corners of thickness. So you'll see it as we go, because that's the first thing I'm going to cut is the fringe today. And you'll see that starting to build up in thickness, all right?
Okay.
And then we'll work on the sides, connection, and then that's pretty much it as well. All right.
Brilliant.
But we'll give it a shampoo and condition to start with. I'll use the power shampoo on you. It's an everyday shampoo. So again, you want to be using this coinciding with whatever treatment you're using. Okay. All right, buddy. But it's good to hear that you're using a hair loss treatment already.
Yeah, I can't recommend it enough, really. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Amazing. All right, buddy. Well, let's get you started, and we'll get into the cut. All right. So before we get into it, we just want to say a massive thank you to the sponsor of this series, Manual. Our first video with Manual worked out so well, and the partnership was amazing, so we wanted to bring more videos to you. So if you don't know, Manual is a British company dedicated to becoming the destination for men's health. Manual offer tailored and medically approved treatments for a variety of issues specific to men's health. And obviously it's their hair loss treatments we're talking about today. Best thing about it, it's all online. You visit the website, you answer a questionnaire about your medical history and receive a treatment recommendation. Your information goes to a specialist doctor on the platform, and from there you're consulted on a specific treatment plan for your case. You receive the products at home on a recurring basis and with a medical follow-up throughout. Manual were kind enough to send us some of their products, and we've had their hair loss treatments out on the shelf at our Regal Jumping Studio ever since. So let's go over here and see what they got. So guys, this is the Power Shampoo. This is an everyday shampoo. Revitalizes your hair. It's got a sense of stimulation in there as well, so you can really feel it going to work on the hair and the scalp as well. We've got the 5% minoxidil as well. We've also got the finasteride tablets as well, and the hair vitamins, which I am currently using as well, and they are fantastic. And Manual have also been kind enough to offer you a discount to celebrate this series on the channel. The code's on the screen now, but it's also in the description if you miss it. And the link to follow is also in the description below. So click that to find out more about Manual and their hair loss treatments. And a massive thank you again to Manual for bringing this series to the channel. So carry on watching this, because you'll get some great advice and you'll also see some really good finished looks for anyone with any sort of hair loss problems. But thanks again, Manual. Yes, or are you just using a normal towel?
Oh, I do, yeah. I've got just like a cotton t-shirt that I use, and then I've still got the towel obviously, but straight out the shower, I'll go for the t-shirt first.
Nice. Scrunch dry?
Yeah.
Dry, yeah. Cool. know what you're doing, buddy. Right, so I'm going to work on cutting the shape in for you, okay? So I'm creating a T-section on top, like so. I'm going to work by taking small sections across and cutting in the length of the fringe first. So with that kick back as well, so it's quite long, it's quite deceiving how long it is when it's wet, because it's curly hair. So I'm going to take it to about that much, that will kick right up to the eyebrows. Just keep this working around while I'm creating my own hairline now. Like so. On this side. What's that on this side? And right back. There we go. So you probably already noticed when it's wet, the fringe is more balanced now.
Yeah,
it's not just thick in the middle and empty on the corners there, right? We do now comb this back from near the crown. Goes all the way down. We just make sure we've got any little bits that might be too long. And this way we just perfect. I'm going to cut this short now, so this is where we start to create that shape. If you want to balance something into the sides as well to create a thicker effect on the sides as well. As I get to this apex here, which is the peak, very top of the head, I come straight up and then I start to pull everything back to this point now. So same width of section, just start bringing everything back. And this is what starts to layer the heaviness towards the front. So we're not just have loads of long bits, we're creating a graduation to the front. You see, eventually nothing comes off. There we go. I'm working still on the same angle, following the head shape around, and you see I've got my guide from the left hand side. So I want to create a nice sort of softer, slightly more rounded finish today. Because of Tom's face being so angular, very lean, I think we soften the hair by making it a bit rounder. I think that will complement it a lot. I'm going to cut away from the hairline. Let's leave that until a little bit, okay? Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate the top to the back and sides. I'm going to cut in palm to palm to create that shape that I'm looking for as well. I'm going to cut into that as well. So I'm going to start to create a very shorter shape around the crown as well. Nice wide sections, we want to leave length in there. Using the guide from underneath. Okay, as I pull out, I'm looking for that guide underneath. Going straight out. Just be a little tidy up with the little strands. I bring in some from the front. I'm going to start to create my sort of, like, I always kind of say, like when you wrap it around the face almost, like a sort of face frame. That's what I want to do for Tom today, because I think it will really help with the fullness. I'm just going to frame the face slightly as well. So when did you really start to notice you were suffering with hair loss then, Tom?
It was probably either late last year or early this year, because I started on finasteride about late January.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, got on it pretty quick because I was looking online just to see what sort of things could be causing it, and then I think there's a lot of people almost starting even more worry about it. So it's like, oh no, I need to get on it as fast as possible, really. So,
yeah, definitely. And have you noticed anything change? Have you noticed anything change in terms of like side effects or?
I haven't had any side effects. I know what they are, and they're not the most pleasant. But I've been fortunate enough not to get any. So
you did your research first, though, yeah?
Yeah,
you looked
I did,
at it all,
yeah.
Cool. That's amazing, mate. So, what were your first thoughts when you realised you're having hair loss, or you're experiencing hair loss? How did it make you feel?
Well, it wasn't entirely shocking to me because my dad's got a sort of similar sort of situation.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought, oh, it's hereditary sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, this kind of sucks, but I'll do research into it. Because I was semi-aware that there were solutions or sort of, not cures all the time, but yeah, stuff that can help.
Yeah, definitely, 100%,
So yeah, just, I was a bit panicked at first because, people online are very fast to try and make you as scared as possible.
Yeah, that can happen, that can happen.
Yeah, I think just... you've got to keep calm about it and just do the research as best you can, really.
Definitely.
Because stressing about it's just going to make it even worse. So
well, it can do. It can do, for sure. It can do. But I mean, that's the thing. If you, I think when you see your dad has a similar haircut to yourself or similar hair texture and whatnot to yourself, did it make you feel a little bit more relieved though that you could, obviously, with it being 2023 and there's so many ways to kind of combat it almost, did it make you feel a little bit better though?
Yeah, it was just...
you said it wasn't too unexpected.
I was a bit relieved when I saw, okay, you can just... There were fixes that were easy enough to sort out. So, yeah, did make me relieved.
Oh, that's good.
Seeing that.
That's good. Glad you jumped on it straight away though, mate, because I think the problem is a lot of people leave it too late, Yeah. And the results aren't as favourable, you know what I mean? I think a lot of the time. But I think it's good that you jumped on it quick enough. I mean, like what you said, a month and you're already on it. So any of your friends, have they been experiencing hair loss at all?
It's not really something we talk about too much either way, so I haven't noticed myself, but most of them sort of go for like a skin fade look anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I guess if there was anything on the back and sides, it would have probably not appeared to me, but I haven't noticed myself, but we haven't really talked about it. But I guess there's still a stigma about it, especially with just being in my early 20s.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of a stigma going on, but I think that's easing a bit.
Definitely.
So,
well, hopefully, like with series like what we're trying to do here, it just gets people talking. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
there's nothing wrong with talking about it. It's a completely natural thing.
Exactly.
No one chooses it. That's the funny thing about it. No one actually chooses to have hair loss or anything at all. Like I never chose to go grey. It just happened, you know what I mean? But you just rock it and you kind of, you talk about it. But it's good that it would be good if if more people were talking about it. Do you reckon when your friends see you on our channel, it might strike up a conversation? Do you think you could end up becoming the kind of advocate to your friends if they're suffering from any hair loss?
I'd like to be, yeah. It's just I haven't even talked to them about my hair loss issues myself. It's just something I've been doing in my own time, really. Yeah. But I think now that I'm more aware of it, I'll be talking about it. Yeah,
definitely. So did you speak to anybody about it at all, or did you just deal with it yourself?
Pretty much just myself, because there was a bit of as I said, there's still that little bit of stigma, a little bit of shame about it in a way.
Yeah, totally.
So I just thought I'd just focus on the research myself, because as soon as you get other people talking about it, there'd be like 5 other opinions trying to say, no, I'll just wait it out a bit, see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I'll definitely try and bring it up sometimes.
It's interesting because you obviously you were quick enough to jump on the research, but I'm sure there's people out there could even be people watching this video who are struggling with it on their own. Do you know what I mean? Because it can lead to some pretty serious mental health problems as well. Because it's such a like you said, a stigma. There's such a big stigma about hair loss.
Yeah, there's online forums where people are sort of like showing their hairlines, saying, "Oh, am I balding, or is it just?" Widow's Peak, that was the one.
Widow's Peak, yeah. I get it weekly. I get messages weekly on my Instagram asking me if I get asked questions like, what is your hairline changed from when you were in your 20s? Because I've got a similar hairline to you now, and I'm in my 20s. Or people messaging saying like, oh, do I look like I'm losing my hair, mate? And all this. It's very hard. It's a hard one to answer because if you do feel like they are, if I give an honest opinion, sometimes it is never a good thing because the stigma of it. It's like the fear of losing your hair, especially as a man.
Yeah.
As a woman, I'm sure too, because there's a lot of female pattern baldness as well. But as a man, I think it's like the crunch time, and it's like an age thing or whatever.
I think it's like a self-denial bias as well about it. So even though someone's like very obviously balding in an area and they're just asking, it's like. There's 100%. Definitely a bit of self-denial going on sometimes.
Definitely. And the thing is, when it is like, a genetic thing as well, you'd think that it would be a bit more understanding. because it's genetics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at people like The Rock or, you know, Jason Statham, they've kind of got this sort of like, they don't really care about the fact that they've gone bald, if you know what I mean. Like it's not been a big thing for them, has it, at all? And I think some people do have that confidence just to rock a bald head if you do lose the hair, but other people really, really struggle with it, don't they? And again, like you found as well, and who we're working with is that there is a solution out there. You know what I mean? There really is. It's just knowing about it. I think that's the thing. I think it's just knowing about it, and again, like you said, doing your research and making sure it's right for you. That's the main thing. But again, there's shampoos that can help with the hair and thicken up slightly and invigorate the scalp. There's powders you can get as well, which create a thicker appearance. You know what I mean? There are tools and there are things on the market now that you can actually get. There's always the last resort as well, which is the hair transplant as well. That is the last resort, obviously. I mean, but when you do have a hair transplant, they give you minoxidil and finasteride to take anyway when you've had a hair transplant. So if you were going to have one, you may as well get on it now. And if that is the end result for you, you know, I mean, not necessarily for you, but for anyone watching, most clinics will give you a finasteride or minoxidil to use when you've had the transplant to help with the growth of the hair. So you might as well start on that before you go down the surgery route. That's the way I always see it. You know, look at the non-invasive stuff first before you go down the surgery route. It'll be great though, you know, if you know when the video does come out, if like maybe if you're on YouTube or whatever, or and you know this does get you talking to your mates and whatnot, and it does get you recommending them, everything else. Leave us a little comment somewhere saying like, so we know it's you, and let us know what happened since the video. You know, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I've been watching like almost religiously for the past year now, once a week. So
cool, man.
Yeah, I'll be sure to
if you wouldn't
that.
mind, that'd be awesome.
Course,
yeah, just let us know if this gets your friends talking about it, you know, and hopefully anyone who's watching likewise, you know what I mean. It becomes a bit of a, we try and take the stigma away from hair loss, you know. Now I'm going to dry this off for you now, okay? So what I've done is I've created a shape which is going to be slightly more rounded, a bit more softer. The texturizing technique that I've put in this is all about the sectioning pattern. So what I was doing with my working through the top first, leaving the length through the front, etc., etc. That is going to create the texture and the shape for you. As you can probably already see, there's a difference in shape, and the fringe looks a lot fuller, and the size looks full. And your hair's wet, so imagine what it's like when it's dry. All right. I'm just using a scalp tonic, just to keep the health of the scalp there. Also, it's always good to use a scalp tonic, I find, as well, if you are going to add heat or you are having to shampoo regularly. This is a curl and frizz oil, or like a gel. What this is going to do is just going to take away the frizz and create a nice softer finish to the hair. All right. And now your best mate, the diffuser. Don't be ashamed of the diffuser, man. Don't hate on the diffuser. Right, so a low speed and a high heat, okay? We'll start to work at the top here. This is the shortest bit. So I want this to have the most prominence to the style, okay? I'm going to focus on the hairline after, because I want that to dry as naturally as possible, because it'll dry thicker, I feel. And just work this around the sides as well. So smaller the circle when you're drying it, the tighter the curl becomes, I find, okay? So we want to create a tight curl because we want to create a nice bit of thickness and add a thicker effect in there at the same time, okay? Look at that at the back now, that's looking really lovely, really nice. And pinch this up, just drop that hair in and scrunch it as well. Yeah. And just finishing off by pinching bits, like that. So hopefully this haircut will show everybody that you don't need to try and leave length elsewhere, especially on the top to cover the sides, for example, like Tom was, to create a full finish. And then we just tweak the little bits just to fill them up. And that is you ending up with a nice full hairline. Sides are nice and thick, you can't see any scalp, and you've got that lovely shape.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy, yeah? Cool, man. No, we appreciate you honestly coming in. I know it's quite obviously a subject that's hard to talk about, so we do appreciate you talking about it. And it's good to know that you're on the right track as well, because you know you've got the tools, with the products that you're taking. And
yeah, it's given me more like sound mind as well, because I thought I was doing the right thing, but it's just nice to hear from you as well that going in the right direction. So
100% definitely. And like you said, you know, I didn't know you were taking any of the finasteride or anything like that until you sat down and told me today. We didn't speak outside or anything like that at all. It was just a conversation in the chair. So I didn't even know you were, and it's good that you've kind of approached that yourself, and then obviously we've just hopefully certified that it's a good option as well. So I'm glad you like the look. I'm glad you're on the right path, mate. Be interesting again to see what your hair's like, you know, come a few more months and everything else. It'd be great to see. Fancy sending us a little selfie, mate, feel free, you know. But yeah, hopefully you find the haircut as well starts to really help you with that as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
There you go, my man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for watching this episode of Talking Hair Loss with Manuel. If you want to watch any more of these videos, they're all on the side here, I hope. And don't forget to subscribe to see more of these videos, which will be coming every 2 weeks as well.